Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here for today's video, man. If you are like me or a fan of a team like me, kind of hurt, man. Then you are a fan of a playoff team or of an NBA team that's not in the playoffs, essentially, right? So for today's video, what we have is the video by Austin Sweat titled "One Move to Improve Every Team Who Missed the Playoffs." I mean, Troy got last place, so you could really add anybody, man, and that's an improvement, right? Let's get it.
There's one thing that each of those teams needs to do to take their franchise to the next level to hopefully secure a playoff spot one day soon. Now, I will mention that I'm not coming up for anything for the Rockets, Spurs, or Pistons because they're very clear.
I will. Houston Rockets, they need James Harden. San Antonio Spurs, they need Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. And the Detroit Pistons, Victor Wembanyama, man. You know what, Spurs? You guys can have Scoot. You guys, okay, Harden to the Rockets, Scoot to the Spurs, and Victor to the Pistons. I'm saying that like James Harden's being drafted, man. And then healthy Cade. Oh, we'll be good to go. We'll be good to go, man.
Clearly tanked this year, and with that and based on what I saw from them, the only advice I could give would be to hope to get lucky in the draft lottery and continue tanking. Other than that, I have nothing else to say for them. You might have wondered why I didn't include the Charlotte Hornets in that category too, based on last season and their record.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Nope, they weren't tanking, they were just actually that bad. The two main changes this team needs though is LaMelo Ball needs to start wearing high top shoes and ankle braces.
Cade got injured too, though.
Jordan needs to officially sell the team because with the way it's been run for the past 10
we didn't mean
years,
to tank.
It's been terrible and has shown no signs of getting any better. Beyond that though, it's tough because you still have Gordon Hayward making $30 million a year and Terry Rozier making over 20. So it's hard to say which direction.
That's worth it for Scary Terry.
Go for free agents, hope to get lucky in the draft, and trade Terry Rozier so they don't have two point guards playing together anymore. And I'll be honest, that probably wouldn't even make a difference because the Hornets are a mess. Now the Orlando Magic aren't nearly as bad, but no matter what they do, it always seems like they're struggling. But on paper, I'd say they're only a couple of steps away
to figure out the rotation.
They have a solid starting lineup and a decent roster, so they need to trade some of their depth and young players and find themselves a star player somewhere across the league to bring in. If they can do that and bring in one or two older players with veteran leadership,
you guys think Suggs is it or no?
Around. The only problem is their extra depth as guys like Cole Anthony,
or does he
Suggs and Bol
Suggs at basketball?
But who knows? A couple of those players, a great pick in this year's draft and a couple in the future, could bring in someone solid. As for if they'll actually end up doing that, I doubt it because it's the Magic. On paper, the Washington Wizards looked like they were finally going to have a resurgence this year. I was impressed with the roster they put together going into this season.
I wasn't.
Definitely not impressed by the results because it was yet another losing season for Bradley Beal and the Wizards, which is why the one move they should make
injury-prone team
for Beal as soon as possible. Unfortunately, though, I don't think it's possible anymore.
No, they're gonna keep Beal and they're gonna sign Kristaps Porzingis to like a supermax contract, and they're going to be like the 10th seed for the next 5 years.
They've always had the
I'm sorry to say it, but
now seeing that he's a shooting
it's not a good constructed team.
Averaged 23 a game for the past 2 seasons, and is going to be making $50 million a year for the next 4 years.
Oh my God.
Untradeable. Because even before the contract, in the free agent market before he signed his massive deal, no other teams made calls to sign him, which shows what teams really think.
He's a third option on a championship team.
With all that said, if I'm the Washington Wizards, I'm finding a trade for him right away, and no matter what it is.
Yo, low key though, you could do, this might be a little intriguing, maybe a little bit like a sign and trade of Chris Middleton on the Bucks for Bradley Beal. I feel like Beal would be nice next to Giannis. Could be a little interesting. Well, no, they already got Drew Holiday. They do Drew at point guard though. It could work. Beal got a little, playmaking abilities too.
For a chance to start over and fully reset. But again, I don't know if that's even possible at this point. As for the Indiana Pacers, they're the rare team that didn't make the playoffs.
You could be like Michael Redd.
They wouldn't make any changes to. Tyrese Halliburton got hurt and it threw off their whole season. But besides that, they're a great team and have a great roster. They got young guys,
same energy to the Pistons though, man.
Cade.
Just
wait it out and see how things go next year once everyone has another year to build chemistry and play together. They just gotta give it more time.
Who's their power forward?
The Toronto Raptors don't have anymore going into this upcoming season. I do do hate teams giving up and resetting, but I think it's without question that the Raptors are one of the teams that it's most clear needs to go in a full-blown rebuild.
Or just get Kawhi back.
Years, they've been an average middle-of-the-road team, which is worst-case scenario. Most of the roster is approaching their primes, but nothing's coming out of it, and not even to mention both Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam are going into the last year of their contracts this upcoming year. So it'd be the perfect time to try and trade both for whatever they can get. Then use the young core.
They could be balling out for that contract year, though.
Trent Jr. plus whoever else they get to build around. It just seems like the best option at this point. If they keep these guys together, they'll always be average, unless they bring in a superstar, and I don't see a big free agent wanting to take their talents to Toronto anytime soon. The Chicago Bulls are a team I actually feel bad for because they had a good thing going until Lonzo got hurt.
I feel bad for Lonzo.
I don't know that he's ever coming back, and now the team's just clearly not working. They missed the playoffs and couldn't win in the play-in, so they need to make
You know what? I hope the lottery balls fall in Chicago's favor. And I know as a Pistons fan, I'm not supposed to be rooting for the Bulls, man. But you guys have gotten so just like screwed over with point guards over the years. Derrick Rose, Lonzo Ball. You know, Kirk Heinrich even had injury issues, bro. Kirk Heinrich, man. Did he have like a hip thing or something? I don't remember. Or maybe I do. I hope you guys get scooped. Man. I really do.
A drastic change.
You deserve
and I'm
them.
thinking that's to trade DeMar DeRozan if possible. Zach LaVine's been the one in trade rumors a lot recently, but he's 6 years younger than DeMar. And with
6
that and the
years
fact
younger?
that
How old is he?
Vucevic is an unrestricted free agent now, it gives the Bulls a chance to really H down their team, which would give them a few more years
Yeah,
to
Vooch
actually
trade
turn into a
was not
championship
good.
contender. At least in my mind, this is a no-brainer. But okay, now we move on to the Western Conference teams, and it's sad. After the Spurs and Rockets, who I said I wasn't going to talk about because they were tanking, we have the Portland Trailblazers, the Damian Lillard-led Trailblazers.
Trade Dame, build around Shaden.
This year, they finished with a 33-49
I'm
record.
Fernie.
They need to trade this man, and I'm tired of it not happening. But it's okay because now is the perfect time anyways. Nobody else on the roster besides Lillard is over 30 years old. So if they can trade him and age down, they'll be in the perfect position to bring up a young team with established players like Anthony Simons to build around.
Shade the next
There's so many
T-Mac.
teams that would give up a lot for Dame, who still has 2 years left on his contract. So this needs to happen in 2023. And if it doesn't because Damian Lillard still doesn't want it to happen, then this dude is just painfully loyal, and that's the biggest weakness in his game. As for the Utah Jazz, they had a surprising start to this past season. And even though they didn't
you
finish
know what?
out so
I think in the end of the day, though, if Dame wants to be loyal, that's completely cool. They have and have had a great point guard for years. It's the management's responsibility to put the right talent around him. That's how I kind of look at it. Like, if he wants to be loyal, great. But management has to match that energy. You know, be loyalty to Dame. Jeremy Grant ain't it.
well, a
I like Jeremy
37-45
Grant, but
record is still
not
a
win
lot
you a
better than most
championship.
people anticipated. I think their goal for the upcoming year is to simply find their identity. All of this past season, they were a random group of guys, all put on the same team and forced to play together. They've already established that Lauri Markkanen is their star. Now they need to make signings and trades based on building an entire roster
Like
around
the OG
them.
on
And
that
based
team.
on the amount of picks they have with Danny Ainge in the front office, I'm sure they'll get it done in no time. I mean, they just started their rebuild last season, and they're already up a future star and almost 10 first-round picks with a roster full of young talent. Aside from the OKC Thunder, it should be clear that the Utah Jazz look like they have the brightest future in the league right now. Now moving over to the Dallas Mavericks,
Oh, boy.
they've been arguably the most disappointing team in the league this year after missing the playoffs.
How do you help this
completely.
squad?
And
Chris
the Kyrie
Middleton?
Irving trade didn't turn out to be all that great for them. But unfortunately, the one move I'd recommend for the Mavs would be to re-sign Kyrie, who's an unrestricted free agent now. There's a lot of
I actually would like Jeremy Grant on this team. I just thought about that. He could be like Dorian Finney-Smith with offense, man. It'd be great.
solid free agents this offseason, but no one that's a real star. So I think their best bet might be to try to run it back with Irving and build more chemistry. Because even from his perspective, I don't think there's going to be
Lucky
a lot
around
of teams
Luke there.
lining up to sign him, given that he's a major liability. Listen, I think Dallas should avoid giving him crazy money, and I really don't even like this scenario for them.
He'll get
But
crazy
they kinda
money
back
from
themselves
somebody.
into a corner. I mean, if they can sign 2 or 3 major free agents, I say they should do that instead. But if not, maybe they keep Kyrie. Now, from the New Orleans Pelicans perspective, the move they should make may be a controversial one because that's trading Zion Williamson. The dude's played 114 games in 4 years and has been injury prone.
Is that
every
time?
season,
Is it that
just like
time?
everyone predicted he would before the draft. And now his work ethic's been called into question with his weight issues and decision to sit out the playoffs because he didn't feel
Who's got the
right.
worst
Pelicans
food
missed
in the United
postseason this year
States?
and probably will continue to if they have their #1 overall pick just sitting on the bench. But hey, he's still 22 and has shown
You can't go to
massive
Detroit. We got
potential,
hot and
which is
readies, bro.
actually important.
I'm the ready,
They
man.
could still get a massive trade offer for him with the right scenario from the right team that's willing to take the risk. I just don't think the Pelicans should be taking that risk with him and should get out while they still can, because the right trade for him could take them to the next level. Now our last team that just barely missed the playoffs is the OKC.
Oh, they're fine. They got Chet coming.
The only move they should be focused on is trading some of their young players and draft picks for a young superstar. They have a ton of talent on this team and a monster amount of picks to use as trade assets, and they showed this season that they aren't.
Would you give up 30 first-round picks if you're the OKC Thunder for Luka Doncic? 30 first-round picks, man. Would you do that? Let me know in the comment section below. That's all we got for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.